us as women, I know we're life givers, and what we tend to do is give up our lives a lot. We give up we give up for our children, we give it up for everything else. Yeah. And I would say you have to stop for a moment. Because sometimes what I did was I just went and sat out on my balcony, or I'll just say to the kids, give me a break. Let me catch myself. And that's what we're afraid to do, or we feel like it's wrong to ask for some time to yourself. But you can't pour from an empty cup.
Hi, ladies. Welcome. Elevate, educate, inspire. Another awesome conversation about to begin. Let me tell you a little bit about me. I'm Karen Williams-Thompson, master strategist, and I help female entrepreneurs and business be crystal clear on their why and help them to set strategic goals to have a successful life and business designed by themselves. I always say the minute you know your why, when you take the time to invest in understanding who you are, why you're going on this journey, the rest begins to fall into place. But it's not about me today, it's all about the lovely Dr. Moss. But before I hand you over to her, I'm going to let my partner, Nikki, introduce herself. Nikki, how are you today?
Hello, my friend. Hey, girl, how's Barbados?
Barbados is hot today, hot.
Is it hot?
Good.
I love it.
It's good.
So we are really around the world. I think Dr. Moss is up. Philippa, where are you? Are you in Bermuda? The Bahamas. Yeah. See, I'm the only one that's not on an island. Man, I feel landlocked. I was about to say I'm the only one that's landlocked. I'm on the coast. New Jersey's not landlocked. Hello. My name is Nicole Laidler, and I am a health crisis strategist. And basically what that means is I am so laser focused on doing my part to address the disparities that we see in healthcare. And the way I do that is by talking to, educating, and helping single mothers create a plan that they can execute in the event of a crisis, so that they don't have to wait until they get in a scenario where they're spent and they're stressed and our brains just can't think clearly. So let's get together and plan something ahead of time so that we can just press a button and execute the plan that we've created. You've already met Karen. You've kind of sort of met Dr. Philippa Moss, but Philippa Moss is here with us today. I'm so excited to talk to her. Dr. Moss, hello, good afternoon, good morning, wherever. It's afternoon, still there, right? I'm so
yes, it's afternoon.
Good afternoon, Dr. Moss. How are you?
I am well. Hello, Karen, and hello, Nikki. It's a pleasure to be here with you ladies and the conversation. I am Dr. Philippa L. Moss, and I am an author, but primarily we're talking about today about coaching. I am a certified transformational coach. So I help you to get yourself together. I help to bring you into balance, whether that's personally, professionally, or spiritually, because us women can be so inundated and overwhelmed at times that sometimes you just need a blueprint. You need a basis, a structural blueprint to walk you through all the cares of life and all the things that we have that we want to move into, whether that's business, whether that's home, and most importantly, our families. So I help you to balance it all out.
Oh, that is fantastic. We so need you. We need you right now in this scenario that we're going through. You know, Dr. Moss, with the pandemic, what are some of the things that you have seen that women have been struggling through?
Balance, as well as we've seen the divorce rate increase, filing of divorces, domestic violence in the home, as well as even child abuse in the home. We've seen a lot of the increase of that during the pandemic. And whereas women, we become overwhelmed with dealing with our spouses, overwhelmed with dealing with our businesses. You have to do the 9 to 5 at home, as well as the 9 to 3 with the children, and then still try to walk away with some sanity for the evening time. And if you're married, you still got to do something else with your husband. So we had a lot going through this pandemic. And what I have found, as we were talking about earlier, is that you have to know when to take a break. You have to know when to say, I am tired. Honey, I need a break. Give me 20. Kids, I need a break. Give me 20. And if you need to ask for help, ask for help. But you have to take a break during this time because the overwhelm is a lot. We had to do I can talk about my own experience here. My kids are young and there are 2 different age groups. And going through doing the schoolwork every day, it was overwhelming. And try to plug into, as an entrepreneur, try to plug in and do the work at the same time. I found that I gave up what I wanted to do because I had to help my children.
Yeah.
And isn't that what us women do so often? We give up our dreams, we give up our passions, we give up what we want to do because somebody else is in need. And yes, it's, that's our personality, we're life givers. But at some point you have to say, I need to, and stop and take care of you. Because like I said, you cannot pour from an empty cup.
You and I have talked in the past, and you know that I am an introvert, so my cup will get empty just because I don't receive energy from my surroundings and from people. That as fun as it is, as much as I love it, that doesn't mean I don't love it. That just means that I need my alone times just so that I can get my mind right, so I can rejuvenate, so I can process, so that I can show up and be who I need to be later. So that alone time is so important. It was important before the pandemic, right? Yes. It was important before. I have talked to so many of my friends with their children, trying to balance working and school. So it's like they became IT technicians too. Yeah. when it first started, it was like Zoom what? Zoom who? And then you have to teach the kids how to navigate through it. The teachers are trying to get used to how to teach a class and how to have impact with kids that have short attention spans. It was a lot. And in the meantime, you're on a conference call. In the meantime, you still have to perform your work. In the meantime, your deliverables are still due. In the meantime, oh wait, it's time to eat. We got dinner set to do. So
I'd say ask for help. And don't feel guilty for asking for help and then receiving the help and taking the break. Because I found that us women, we feel guilty for wanting just a breather from our spouses, from our children. But like I said, you can't pour if you're empty. You can't give, or, even with a vehicle, if you keep driving on fumes for so long, everything in that vehicle will begin to break down. And us women, we keep going. We keep going and we look at the gauge and say, I know this car. I could go a little further. We keep trying and we push ourselves to a breaking point. And many times it could be avoided if we would just simply ask somebody for help and say, I just need a break. And whether that's, you have to say to your boss, I have my children. I have this going on. Can I step back a moment? If you ask your spouse, I'm overwhelmed, like you talked about with all the technical aspects of this schooling. Can you give me a break? Give me 2 hours alone to myself and let me refuel so that I can not be snappy at dinner, not be snapping at the children, and I can be effective and efficient at everything that I do. So one thing I would always say to women is that you have to ask for help. Know that it's okay to ask for help. We all need it, but it's just that because we want to be the superhero, we don't ask for it. Because we feel that we have to always keep on this cape, this persona of I'm the strong woman. And you are a strong woman even if you ask for help, but you have to first know that. You have to know that it is a necessity. It is not an option for you to take a break. It is not an option for you to take a breather. It's a need. It's a need that we all have. And so I would say my first thing would be, have you asked for help?
And also to look for creative ways of finding that time for yourself, like taking a moment to be, go for a walk, or maybe sit outside on the patio, to do something that also
Right.
to create that space for you, because
Yes.
you know how you are feeling. So it's important then to create the space that you know that you're needed, because as you said, if you're empty, you can't give. And because we want to always give of our best, because of the same superhero, it's so important that we take that pause, to take a pause to reflect, to refine, or to redefine. But a pause is just so important. And often as women, we just don't ask for that.
What you're saying, and then to piggyback off of what Felipa said, she said, talk to your boss, right? And let them know. So everybody's going through this pandemic right now. There is no one that hasn't been touched by it. So
Right.
in my mind, that should even give us more courage to ask
Yes.
for a moment, right? Because before, sometimes in my mind, I'm like, I can't say this because they can't relate, or they might not know, or they may judge me a certain way. Who is going to judge in this scenario when the whole entire globe was shut down and affected? The whole entire globe. This was something that impacted everybody, right? So I think it's a great opportunity, and the timing is right to just have clear communications with those people around us. And I didn't realize that I was going to have Zoom fatigue like I have Zoom fatigue. I had no idea. Like when the pandemic first started, I was like, oh, I know Zoom. We did it. We launched Zoom at my company. So I did. I learned it then. And so when the pandemic hit, I knew how to navigate. I was like, oh, we can have Zoom parties, and we can do Family Feud, and we can have family. And I'm like, wait a minute, right? So that's when it started. By March, April, by the mid-April, I was like, I'm good.
Yeah, we had enough.
I was like, so, however, I still needed my girls. However, I still needed the interaction with my friends. I still needed that, right? So I had to ask. I had to be creative and find ways to get the mental refreshment that I needed from the people that I needed it from, whether it would be space and taking a pause, or whether it would be chiming in with my girls, or however we creatively decided to do that.
Ask for help.
Yeah.
And I'm
But
like, even with us in business, you see that if I know Karen is good in an area and I'm struggling with something, why would I not pick up the phone and say, Karen, I need your assistance with this? We prefer to struggle on our own. It makes no sense when you have something and somebody right there that can assist you. And okay, yes, after you've done all those creative ways and you still haven't gotten it, then go pick up the phone and ask Karen to help you. It's just that simple. I mean, let me not say it's that simple, because for some people it isn't that simple, because you need to take off the cape, take it off, and realize you need some assistance.
And that is exactly the spin that I wanted to put in here, ladies. There are some women out there who are really afraid to ask the boss. And I'm just tacking back to that conversation piece, because that's a really important point. That's what we should be able to say, and one of our other guests, Sierra, is really going to be speaking about having and owning your voice, but being able to articulate, this is what I need. But because there have been so many layoffs, and because of what the home situation may be, there are a lot of women out there who are just afraid to even ask for that help. And, that just makes the cycle that much more difficult.
What is the worst thing that can happen if I ask somebody for help? They'll say, no, I'm not available. I can't help. Or what if they're rude with it? The worst case scenario of any situation is where I go in my head, and then I think myself through it, and I build up confidence to get through that scenario. And then I'm like, okay, well then if I can conquer that, if that's the worst case, then I can go ahead and move forward. So if the worst case scenario, my boss says, no, you can't have time, I'm like, really? And then I would say, really? Are you not in the same pandemic that I'm in? You're not exhausted? Right? And then I would communicate, and then I would try to connect on a human level so my point is that the worst, the fear of asking for help. Think about the worst case scenario. The actual worst case scenario, if you don't ask for help, is that it impacts you. Then then you break. That's the worst case scenario. So let's avoid that. I'd rather somebody say no and hurt my feelings, and then I have to go ask somebody else, than to end up broken or cracked because I didn't ask for help at all. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, because the other thing about that is that it affects you, but it also affects the same people that you love so much that you're trying to do everything for.
Absolutely.
Right. Because I was going to say, what if you don't ask your boss for the break, your work will begin to deteriorate if you yourself are not physically or mentally strong, or if you're having a hard time, you can't focus. So your work begins to go down, and so they will still be affected in some way or somehow. And then, like you said earlier, Karen, if your boss do say no, then you have to find another way, take from another area in your life where you can get the break that you need, whether that's with your children or with your spouse or with your housework. Go and do something differently where you can find a time. But you have to, it's a necessity. And I want to say that to the women who are listening to this: don't consistently and continuously push your body, because eventually, mentally, physically, you will break down. And you are needed. You are needed. Women ought to know that you are needed, not just as a mommy, not just as a wife, but as an individual, as a person. You are needed. And so you have to take breaks. You have to take time to yourself to revive, to replenish, to renew, so that you can be the best at whatever position that you hold. But it's a necessity. Take a break. I had so many women sitting in my office just talking about their personal experience and how hard things were at home. And so, because I always believe it, even as a manager, that I cannot expect you to perform well here if something's going on the outside, because on the outside doesn't affect. We can say all we want, when you come inside here, you need to leave whatever at the door. That does not work, especially as us women. We internalize and we take everything with us. Okay, the kitchen sink and all. We take everything with us.
We do.
So, the bags.
Right, to sit and listen to them go through so many things. And so after, I would sit with them and they would allow them to talk. And that's all. Karen, you and I are talking about, they only need a listening ear. Then you will see their productivity increase. You would see that they become more relaxed on the job. And so for that personal experience there, when I was working in corporate, is what helped, what pushed me even outside of it. And you ladies know I'm a minister as well. And in the church, ministering to people, I want to see women fulfilled and free. So for me too, I had my own issues and apprehensions and fears as well. Hence why I'm helping you to get through yours, and procrastinating and just trying to get out of your own head to realize you deserve everything you desire. Period. Okay. And you can do whatever you need to do to get to that. So as I was freed and I'm more fulfilled in where I am in purpose and what I desire to be, I want to pull women along to that. You're not stuck in your head, because many times that's where we are as women. We got so much going on up here as to what to do, when to do, how to do it. And then we don't have a roadmap or blueprint to I need to compartmentalize all of this, put this in this right perspective and still live and enjoy life. Not just be doing life, but enjoy it.
Yes. Live life. Yes.
Yes.
And I've said it before and I have to say it again. That's why these conversations are just so important. It's important for us to sit and just have this conversation as women, for women, with women, because there are so many persons who are listening that can relate to what we're saying. And it might just be the right spark at the right time that they need to either reach out to someone to get that help, to actually ask the question and ask for the help. And so we have to continue to have these conversations, because I think you said it just now, when we bring one, we're bringing all of the women up
Yes.
with us, and that will just be phenomenal. And it's time.
I want to say this to us women. Show grace to other
Oh,
women.
beautiful. Yes.
Show grace to other women. You know, there are times I walked into a store. I was exhausted. My son's birthday, I was doing so much things. And I think, you know how us Caribbean women go, I think I forgot to say good afternoon. And in my head, I was somewhere else. And I just walked in and I went and got what I needed to get. And the lady in the back of me was like, did she say good afternoon? Did she do this? And in my head, I was like, oh my God, I am so sorry. Extend grace, because you never know what the other woman is experiencing, whether that's on the job. I went to a restaurant with a friend and we were having a group gathering, and the waitress, I think she made a mistake or whatever. And I said to her, are you okay? Instead of berating her and saying, oh, this is why you only a waitress or whatever, I found out what she was going through. And I said to her, it's okay. You made a mistake. We all do that. And I say to other women, don't be so quick to judge the woman, because you don't know what she's experiencing. You don't know what happened to her the night before, the day before, the minute before she got into your presence. So extend grace, the same grace that you would want someone to extend to you when you're having a hard day, a bad day, you woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Extend that same grace to each other, because we would be so much better. We would be more empowered to know that I sense that Karen or Nikki is going through something, as opposed to me saying, well, why Nikki got an attitude? What is her problem? I would go to Nikki and say, are you okay today? You know, just offer grace to the women in your life, the women around you. Offer grace.
That is so powerful. That is just so awesome. I am so happy that you mentioned that. That is just, that is just it, Dr. Moss. Show grace.
I agree. I had that similar conversation with my daughter, so I'm so glad you had that. And the conversation, we were out and about, and normally I would have said, or I would have thought, you know, you're in customer service. We had an experience with someone, and my thought normally, or in a regular years ago, would have been, oh, you're in customer service. That's how you talk to us. You're not treating us this way. But instead, I was thinking to myself, like, you know what? She's probably going through something. She's probably having a bad day. And this is right, exactly. Oh, we've always been overworked and and underpaid, but now it's even more so. Now we are everybody's at capacity, right? So the scenario is my daughter's pregnant. She was, I forget how many months, six months pregnant. So we went for her ultrasound, and the technician, she wasn't rude, she wasn't mean, but you know, usually when you're interacting with pregnant women and you're in that profession, they're usually real warm and fuzzy, like, are you okay? She just wasn't that. She was just business. And so we felt it. And so I was telling my daughter, you know, it's okay, because she probably has some things going on too. And it's everybody. So that grace is so needed. I want it, I want to give it, I want to receive it, I want to give it. I have to. And I love this community that we're building here with the members and the presenters of Elevate, Educate, and Inspire, right? This group of women that have come together to do this series, you guys are amazing and wonderful and supportive. The support and the sisterhood, this is a global sisterhood like I have never experienced. And we came together real quick. Real quick. This wasn't in the makings of like a day, a year. This was like a day. And we came together in a short period of time because we were all ready. We were all ready to help. We were all ready to lock arms and pull each other up and help. The world is ready. The individual women are ready. Oh, we are. You know, right? So it's such a beautiful thing. So that grace that you just ended us on is a beautiful thing. I love you for mentioning that.
Yes, for sure. That deserves an amen.
It does. I'm going to say amen. So listen, Dr. Moss, this is my question. This is my final question to you. We need to stay connected. We need you to blow up. We need the women that need you to, how can they get to you?
I'm on Instagram. I have a website and it's philippaelmoss.com. My name, once again, just .com. And I have my private Facebook group where I do offer in that coaching. Periodically, I'll go in and coach the ladies and just, I have them come in and they say what they need, and I'll go and coach them through that as well. And I'm on LinkedIn as well. Of course, we're all on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the place to be, okay?
Yeah.
We're on LinkedIn. So you can reach me on either one of those platforms, and as well, or via my website. And we can have a conversation. If you need to get to shift and get out of your head, if you need balance in your life, if you just need someone to help you through whatever you may be experiencing, especially during this pandemic, I will walk you through it and leave you free and fulfilled at the end of the day, because that is what I desire to see women. And so many of us have been carrying so much, and it's okay to be a carrier, but you have to know when to rest it down. You have to know when to live your life, and to be free in your mind and your heart, and to be comfortable. Just be comfortable asking for help and knowing that you deserve it. You deserve a break. You deserve to go to the Bahamas or Barbados for a week or so, you know? You deserve that. And so sometimes, like you ladies were saying, you just need to have the conversation. We just need to talk to somebody else. And if you need a listening ear or somebody who you need help from, just like Karen and I were talking, sometimes that's all we coaches are. Sometimes it's just a listening ear. We're going to provide you a blueprint and a pathway, help you to perceive the right pathway to move forward. But most of the times, all you need is somebody to listen to you. And we will be shocked to know and to realize how we figure out our own steps just by talking. I don't have a cookie cutter where I'm going to say to you, okay, do steps 1, 2, and 3, because I realize just how our fingerprints are different. Everything about us is different. And so as a coach, I help you where you are and not where I think you should be.
I love that one. Yep. And I'm sorry to interrupt. One more thought that I just wanted to just put a plug in. One of the first topics, one of the first questions that we talked about, I asked you, what have you seen with the pandemic? And you mentioned the rise and the increase in domestic violence. So I just want to put it out there that if you're suffering from domestic violence, please ask for help. And what we'll do is I will make sure that we have some information wherever we post this video on where you can go to get help for any type of abusive situation that you're in. If you're feeling down, whether it's a suicide hotline, domestic violence, I will make sure that we will make sure, not I, it's 3 of us on here. We will make sure that those resources are right at your fingertips and fully accessible for you.
The need for help will be ongoing. I think the most important thing is for persons to learn how to ask for that help. Dr. Moss, I mean, this has just been wonderful. I have enjoyed just listening to you, just sitting here, even as a fellow coach, you know, I just enjoyed sitting here and basking in your knowledge and your willingness to share that. So thank you so much for giving up your valuable time on a Sunday evening. I know that you are a busy, busy lady, and we so appreciate that you were, 1, willing to just jump on this journey with us, excuse me, and that 2, you were willing to just share and share and share with us. Thank you so very much.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies, for having me.
Our pleasure.
Our pleasure.